Hi there, it's Trisha, and I wanted to go over a couple things from Monday, September 28th that I think will help you. We use three charts with indicators for our two setups that we like to trade, and we require confirmation from our indicators before we ever get into the trade. So if you'd like more information about the setups, you can go to www.easyemintrade.com. And also want to remind everybody that when you get the ebook, you are invited into the education room for 3 days at no charge. So that will help with the pattern recognition, setup recognition, and also give you the chance to ask questions. So that you'll find helpful as well. And the purpose of these videos is to further help with the setup recognition. So anyway, I hope that they're helping. And first off, we'll start with a trade that was setting up first thing in the morning. Actually is 9:43. Let me just move this up here. And I want to point this out because here's where it's setting up, and it's right at 9:43. And so you would wind up entering in above this area here, but you have less than a point of room above your head to this resistance area, and then above that you've got the high from Friday. So we know that typically we do not slice right through this area of any resistance quite like that. It just so happened that we had news come out, so we did make it through that fairly easily, obviously, but you don't know that ahead of time, so you stick to your rules regardless, and then you just look for the next entry, because we know, because our experience tells us that in most cases we are going to stall or pull back here. So we're always making sure that we've got enough room, in this case above us, to take the trade and be profitable. And every now and then you get lucky and you do get right through areas of resistance and you wind up with a larger profit than anticipated, but you can't always assume that because this is not always the case. So this was our opportunity to jump on. We had already gotten through, obviously, the high from Friday. We had this resistance area here right above us at 1052. Our indicator was firing off just above that area, so it was perfect. Everything was in line to take that trade. We're closed above our moving average. Our indicator here is in line. Everything's in line to take that trade. So we take it knowing that we do have a resistance area right above us here with floor trader pivot at 1055 and change. So we know that ahead of time. So we're going to want to make our first profit target fall in line with that. So you could, if you're exiting in thirds, you could do 2/3 at +1 and then leave your final third open. So this way, if you do happen to break through that area, you can just trail stop it. So with that said, knowing that you do have an area above you, you want to make sure that you've got your first profit target in place so you can take advantage of the possibility that if you do get a pullback here, you could turn a winning trade into a losing trade. So you would have gotten your +1 on that, and likely you would have moved your stop just under this area here, which would gotten you basically stopped out at a quarter better than your entry on your final contracts. So if you managed it as 2/3 and then 1/3 left open, you got your +1 on 2/3, and then your final third you were stopped out at a little better than your entry. So the next setup that we took was just after 10:30, and this was nice because it was firing off above our resistance area. And so when we place our order, we have attached orders already in place. So when our order gets filled, our stop is automatically placed. We have a profit target of +1, +2, and then an open target. So depending on what is above you or below you when you enter the trade, that's going to determine if you want to take 1/3 off at your initial target or 2/3 off. So that's something that you'll have to decide for yourself. We know getting into this trade that we've got this area here above us at 1058. So we're thinking that we should be able to get up to that area. We do have an area at 1057 when we look at our daily chart and our 15 and our 60-minute chart of previous price action from previous days, that this might be an area where we get a stall, and we did. So after this entry, we did get our +1, and then we're stopped out at break even on our final contracts. So again, knowing these things going into the trade will help you to determine if you're going to take, all of your profits at a specific area, or take 2/3 and then leave 1/3 open. So that will be for you to decide. Typically, with the market the way it is lately, when we get our first target, I'm moving my stop to my entry. So that's how I choose to manage. That does not mean that is how you choose, have to choose to manage. We did have this trend line break, which occurred at 208. Actually, the fill was at 208. We would have entered in half a point under this bar here. Everything's in line to take this trend line break. We close below the trend line, close below our moving average. Indicator here is in line. So everything's in line. We know going in, though, based on our price action over here to our left, you could see it right here, that 1057 is likely to be an area of stall on the way down, and that's exactly what happened. But knowing that going in, we made our first target 1057. And then if we got through it, then obviously the way that we work this is we trail stop once price starts to move above each bar as it completes. So once we're in the trade, we move our stop to half a point above this bar here. Price isn't moving, so we just leave the stop there. And if you hung on long enough, you would have gotten a point out of it, but that would have been it, and it would have been a 40-minute trade. So basically, I got my first target down to 1057, and then I flatten and cancel my remaining contracts at at break even. Actually, it was a little worse than break even. I think it was a quarter worse than break even on my final contracts. So this basically turned out to be, a break even or a slight loser for me, like by a quarter, I think, based on the number of contracts I was trading. But if you're trading one contract, you are profitable, obviously, because you would have taken that first target. So again, just knowing what to expect will help you to minimize the size of your loss, and also to determine where you could get a stall. And if you get through the area, then great, then you look for the next area. Okay, where's the next area where I might stall? So just those are some things that will help you out in your management. And if you would like more information on the setups, you can go to www.easyemintrade.com.